Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 1014th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. And what a cracking battle I've got for you today. It's fought on one of the old school battle maps here. Believe it or not, this map was used quite a lot back in the day. It might not at first sight look tactical or strategic, but believe me, it is quite a tactical and strategic map here. With lots of undulating ground and two hills, if you like. You've got the one hill over there, okay? Both teams will be trying to capture the higher ground and this higher ground hill here. So, as I say, both teams you will see will be struggling, if you like, to try and get up onto those higher points. If you notice there, both teams, the lines of the setup lines there of both factions there are quite close. And it'll be interesting to see who manages to grab the high ground. Just to show you the steepness of the hills on this map, as you can see, quite steep. As I say, this is a very old school battle map that was used back in the day quite a lot. It is quite a tactical map, as you may see as the battle unfolds. Okay, our first teammate is Iberos Touro. Now he's got the bog standard 31k Roman army of 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, 14 infantry and 6 cavalry there. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Fesen with his faction of choice. Now he's got 12 Sacred Band spearmen and 6 light cavalry. Okay, 12 spearmen, 6 light cavalry. Those of you that might not have seen the long shield light cavalry of Carthage, there's a close-up of for you, and you can see it's got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So he's upgraded them quite well there. And if you notice here, the upgrades, he usually brings 8 upgrades on his Sacred Band, or you can see it's got 8 upgrades, 2 veteran stripes, gold shield, gold attack there. And just look at the steepness of the hills on this particular map. So I say very tactical, very strategic this map can be. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Aurelius with his faction of choice. He's got 13 Spartans and 5 cavalry, and as I say, Greek cities is his faction of choice. Quick look at his cavalry there. It's light, fast moving light cavalry. He's got 7 upgrades on, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack there. So as I say, that is Aurelius's faction of choice, and he's got very good with it over the years. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's got 14 infantry and 5 cavalry. Okay, 14 infantry and 5 cavalry, including 2 eagle units, boosting the morale of my troops. And here is the other team. We have Titan's Antiochos here. I think that's how you pronounce it, Antiochos, but I'm going to refer to him as Anti during the course of the battle. Now he's got 3 Silver Shield Legionnaires, 11 Silver Shield Pikes, and 6 Cataphracts. And this is Anti's faction of choice, as it has been for many years. You notice that he's got the Silver Legionnaires in front of his main battle formation. Then he's got a line of pikes, and then another Silver Shield Legionnaire unit there. Okay, so just to show you his battle formation. And what surprised me was the low upgrades on the Seleucid pikes. If you notice, it's only got 6 upgrades, gold shield, gold attack. We know that Seleucid morale is not very good, so usually an experienced stripe is welcome for these units. But as I say, that is his faction of choice, so he actually knows what he's doing there. And if you notice, his Cataphracts have just got 7 upgrades on, an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And remember, we call these guys the tanks of the ancient world because they're armor from head to toe, and used correctly, they can be battle-winning troops. Okay, so as I say, that is Anti's faction of choice, and it has been his faction of choice for many years now, and he's got extremely good with them. And talking about faction of choice, our next teammate is RTW player Barclayman, who's got his faction of choice, Pontus. Now he's got 15 pikes and 5 chariots. Okay, 15 pikes and 5 chariots. You'll notice that he split his army. He's got 3 of his pike units on the other side of that kind of bold dip there, if you like, on the map. So I must say that is his faction of choice, and he has got very good with Pontus. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member Tabor. Now Tabor's got the bog standard 31k Roman army of 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, and the reason that's been the bog standard 31k army for so many years is because it's so effective and so efficient. And their last teammate is someone who's called himself Chinny Poo, but is in fact Scorpion King SR. Now get ready for this. He's got 16 infantry, 1 peasant unit, 2 veletes and 1 armored cavalry general unit there. Okay, so he's got a lot of infantry there and a lot of firepower. Okay, just show you the old school armored cavalry general, just to say up to about maybe 14-15 years ago, we all used to bring that as our Roman general there, until most of us changed to an infantry general. So that's genuinely old school there. The Scorpion King bringing the armored cavalry general, but with 16 urban cohorts, he's got a lot of firepower there that he can put down onto our team. Okay, so as I said earlier, this hill here, the enemy team will try and grab that higher ground there, if you like, the saddle of the hill, if you like. But you'll see that Fesen and Aurelius would try and grab that higher ground as well. Okay, that's be a bit of a tussle there. Now, over here, what I try to do on this map is try and grab this hill if I can. Okay, but you can see that the enemy there, team, has got more of an easier run, if you like, to get on top of that hill. So the chances are that I'm not going to be able to capture that hill there. As I say, it's quite a steep run to get up there, but as I say, it looks like the enemy team are going to be closer than me. So if I can't capture that hill, I'll run round to my allies' hill there and try and get up there with them. Should be a cracker for you to watch. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, you'll see I'm moving my red Julia army up to try and take that hill, that first hill. That's one of the first objectives that I always try and do. But as you can see, the Pontus general there, Barclayman, is moving his troops onto that hill. Okay, you can see that he had his setup area was closer to capturing the top of that hill than where my area was. So, okay, so there's no chance of capturing that hill now, because obviously the Pontus pikes of Barclayman is going to capture that hill. Okay, so as I say, no chance of me trying to capture that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bypass that hill and get over to my allies' hill over there. Okay, you can see where my Carthage and Greek city allies have captured that particular hill there. Okay, and you can see here that Aurelius with his Greek cities has captured the top of that hill, and you can see Barclayman's brought some of his pikes over there to try and neutralise, and you'll see both the enemy Brutii teams moving over here as well. So well done to Aurelius for capturing that hill, and you'll see that Touro over there with his purple SBQ army will be trying to get over here as fast as he can as well. So there's a lot going on in this battle on both flanks. So I'll try and get everything for you, but as I say, with a lot going on at the same time, it's quite difficult. I'd just like you to notice these 3 chariots here, okay, of Barclayman's. Now notice he's going up onto the higher ground there. Can you think why he's doing that? Well, of course, he's looking to get a downhill chariot charge into my moving troops. And make no mistake, that can be devastating if that actually happens. Okay, so as you can see, I've changed the trajectory of my army now. I'm moving over to the friendly hill where my allies have captured that hill there, not trying to capture the hill that I was going for with the Pontus pikes. Okay, and here you'll see that the chariots, there's pause the game for a second here, you'll see that the chariots are coming into me now. I've got 2 choices here, okay, with those chariots coming down onto me. I can either keep running as I am to try and get over onto that friendly hill, but I will lose loads and loads of my troops from those 3 chariots. Or I can stop running and put my troops into Testudo, which is the fantastic defense against the chariot attack. Okay, so as I say, I had a choice: keep running or lose loads of troops, or go into Testudo. So here you can see that I'm starting to put my troops into Testudo to try and repulse the chariot attack coming down onto me. Okay, so there you can see my troops going into Testudo there. And I think Barclayman anticipated that, because you'll see that he's not bringing the other 2 chariots in. This chariot's probably going to rout without doing a lot of damage to my troops. Okay, just pause the game for a second here. But if you notice, right, so there you are, that chariot has routed. It wouldn't have done a lot of damage to my troops as I put them into Testudo. It caused me a few casualties, but not as many as Barclayman would have liked. But if you notice here, he sent another chariot to chase down my cavalry. Okay, very cheeky, very aggressive there, I thought, by Barclayman there. Going to smash into the rear of my cavalry with that chariot unit. I need to turn my cavalry to face a threat, and he's got the downhill charge bonus as well. Look, bang! As he smashes into my cavalry, I've turned my cavalry to counter him, and you can see my Carthage ally bringing his cavalry in as well. So he wouldn't have caused me that many casualties with that chariot hit, and he's lost now 2 of his chariots. Over here you'll see that as I say, Aurelius captured the highest part of the hill, and you can see the Pontus pikes and the Brutii troops there trying to attack Aurelius. And you can see that Scorpion King bringing his 16 infantry over here with a lot of firepower there, may well try to attack Aurelius there. And you can see Touro's cavalry has arrived and his infantry from all over there, and you can see that his infantry are going to come up to occupy the top of the hill there. But for me, I'm in a very dangerous position here, because you can see the enemy have got a downhill charge bonus onto me while I'm trying to get over to the other hill. Now I've got to come out of Testudo and start running really fast, but there's a massive threat coming down on me in just a minute, as you will see. Okay, you'll see my Julia army. I'm running as fast as I can to get onto the other hill, but look at that massive threat above me on that first hill. Okay, you see all the Seleucid cataphracts there ready for a downhill charge onto me there. Okay, just look at the steepness of that hill. So that's going to give them a heck of a lot of downhill bonus as they smash into my moving infantry. I'm still just trying to get over onto that hill. Plus you've got a chariot unit there. You can see I left a unit in Testudo there to try and slow down that chariot unit, but whether that will slow it down, I don't know. But I'm trying to get over to that hill as fast as I can, but I can see that Seleucid. I mean, this could be unsurvivable. Okay, make no mistake about this. This downhill charge could be unsurvivable for my army. He could get a mass rout going there, and once they hit, they hit. And here he goes, like, and bang! As he smashes in there. More cavalry going in there, like a bang! As he smashes in there. So I've turned my troops to kind of face the threat of that cavalry hit coming into me. But just look at the downhill advantage he's got as he's forcing those cataphracts into my infantry there. Oh my gosh, as I say, and there's that chariot unit going in behind, look, and bang! There's a chariot unit of Pontus smashes in behind me. As I say, this could be unsurvivable for my army here, but you can see those Pontus, that Pontus chariot there, and look, you can see the Seleucid general has alt-attacked with his cataphracts, so they're using their effective against armor maces on my troops. So, oh my gosh, as I say, this could start a mass rout. They're going for my general. I noticed that the chariot there, the Pontus chariot, has gone into my general unit there, and you can see that the Seleucid cataphracts are attacking my general unit as well. What I'm going to do now is bring cavalry down the hill here, so I'll have a downhill charge bonus into those cataphracts, and you can see that Fesen's bringing his cavalry down as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Anti pulled his cavalry back. There, the Seleucid general could pull his cavalry back. You can see that the Greek cities cavalry was going to charge in there as well. There you can see my cavalry and Fesen's cavalry charging in there, but as I say, the Seleucid general's probably going to pull his cavalry back there, which is a good move. He did the damage he wanted to there, and now what we need to do is pull our cavalry back. No point in carrying on there, because you're just going to run into anti-cavalry pikes. So we need to move our cavalry back, and I need to keep my infantry, or what's left of my infantry, up onto the other hill where my allies have occupied it. Okay, so all my Julio troops, I need to now move up onto that hill. You can see Touro's brought half of his army over here. Notice with his general, for the general morale bonus for that particular mini army. You'll see Pontus here is coming up the hill to assault Carthage. Very aggressive move there. And over here you'll see the other half of Touro's army, and if you've noticed, he's got an eagle unit with that half of his army, so he's giving a command bonus there, morale bonus, command morale bonus to those troops. But here you can see that Aurelius has pushed back the Brutii troops that were attacking him. Just look at all the dead. There's a lot of Pontus pike dead there as well. So well done to Aurelius. He pushed the Brutii, the two Brutii armies back now. So as I say, well done to him. Okay, there's a lot of enemy troops there that he's managed to push back. Okay, so well done to him. But as I said here, you can see Pontus coming up the hill. But My red Julii troops there lost a lot from both the chariot coming in behind me and the Seleucid downhill CATAPHRACT attack. Now, I'm hoping that a lot of my routing troops will rally. Okay, that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, that's if they can rally, then that'll be good, because I'll get them back up onto, if you like, the friendly hill where my allies are. You see several of my units are going up on the hill already. But as I say, I hope that a lot of my units will rally so that I can get them up onto that friendly hill after that massive downhill attack from the Seleucid cataphracts there. You can see some of my units starting to rally already. I can see the Carthage and cavalry starting to rally as well, so that's good news. We just need to get all those troops up onto our hill, if you like, there, and hopefully not being attacked by cavalry either. Okay, but there's the damage that was done there to my army from the enemy troops. So yeah, as I say, I thought that might have been unsurvivable there, but the morale boosting units in my army kept my troops from mass routing there, if you like. Okay, so let's just pause again for a second here. So here you'll see that Fesen has now got a downhill advantage with his Carthaginians, which have got better specifications than the Pontus pikes there. So moving the Pontus pikes there could have been a little mistake, maybe. I don't know. Please put your thoughts in the comments. But here you can see all those Brutii, 2 Brutii armies there. Now, are they going to attack there? Okay, remember, you've got Scorpion King and Tabor there with their Brutii armies. Now, should they go round there? Here, what do you think about this? Just as a tactical movement question for all of you. Do you think that those 2 Brutii armies should come round here and form up on this hill where the Seleucids are? Do you think that would be a good tactical move? Or do you think both these Brutii armies should kind of re-attack, if you like, against the Greek cities there? Please put your thoughts in the comments about that. As I say, a tactical movement question there. See what you think. Now, as I say, here you can see Carthage moving down onto the Pontus pikes there. And now over here you'll see a lot, thank goodness from my point of view, that a lot of my troops have now rallied. Okay, I see that amok chariot. If that can go over towards the enemy troops, that'd be a lot better. But you can see a heck of a lot of my troops have now rallied, and I need to get them up on the hill there before they can be attacked by possibly enemy chariots or enemy cavalry. Okay, so that's good news. A lot of my units, as you can see, have now rallied, and I'll get them up onto the friendly hill, if you like. Over here, I'd just like to draw your attention there. You'll see that Touro has got a couple of his cavalry units in behind the enemy team there. Nice tactical move there by Touro. See what mischief he can cause with those cavalry units. Now here, as I say, the Pontus pikes were put at a real disadvantage there. Did you think that? And Fesen's Carthaginians, and I'm throwing loads of my Julii pilers into those Pontus pikes as well. But putting those Pontus pikes where they were put them at a big disadvantage there, as Carthage had the downhill charge bonus plus, they got the better specifications. Alright, so over here you'll see that both Tabor and Scorpion King have decided to, if you like, re-attack this particular flank against Aurelius's Greek cities, Spartans there, and the SPQR units of Touro. Okay, so that's what they've decided to do there. Very aggressive move there by both of them. But Pontus has lost a lot of pikes there in that maybe, you know, I don't know to say bad positioning of the pikes there, but they did lose a lot of their pikemen there to the Carthage Sacred Band units there with the downhill advantage they had. So there you can see there that we've taken up on both sides of that valley there. Okay. Let's just pause the game for a second here. So there's what I call the Valley of Death. Okay, that's the Valley of Death. Whichever side goes into that valley and then starts trying to attack uphill, it could, as I said, turn out to be a Valley of Death for whichever team decides to go into that valley first. You remember that song about the charge of the Light Brigade into the Valley of Death, Road to 600? Well, that looks like a Valley of Death to me. I don't know what you think. Please put your thoughts in the comments. But over here, As I say, both Tabor and Scorpion King being incredibly aggressive here against Greek cities and the SBQR troops of Iberos Touro. Okay, you've got cavalry there ready, locked and loaded to charge in, but attacking Spartans head on for Rome is that's quite is quite a difficult challenge, if you like, for Rome, as a lot of veterans watching this will know. Okay, so let's just pause again for a second here. So you can see here that I've got a lot of my Julii troops. As I say, a lot of my units, thank goodness, rallied there and came out, and I've got them now in a battle formation on top of the hill. The good news is that one of my Eagle units has rallied, so I've got, and plus my general unit as well, so I've got 2 lots of morale boosting units there for the troops that I've got left. And remember, they will be giving the Carthage units morale as well. You can see that area there where I was hit. So as I say, we're holding this side of the valley, and you can see that the enemy Seleucids are holding the other side. And as I say, here you can see that Fesen's got his cavalry and Aurelius has got his cavalry in behind the enemy troops. So as I say, it'd be interesting to see what mischief they're looking to cause there. Okay, there's Touro, those couple of cavalry units we saw him put behind the enemy troops. Remember, we saw them behind, and he's brought them round here, possibly looking to hit into the rear of enemy troops with those cavalry units. Now, I thought this was unusual positioning here. Can you see that Tabor has brought his infantry round on this extremely steep part of the hill here? Okay, I mean, just look how steep that is, and look what he's facing at the top of that hill. Spartans ready to receive an attack uphill. So I thought it was unusual. Now, he may well have just moved his troops there to throw loads of pylons into the Spartans there, but of course, throwing pylons uphill, they will have less effect. Throwing pylons downhill, you get the downhill bonus, as we know, where they go further and do more damage. So throwing pylons uphill would, I would presume, would go less distance and do less damage, is what I'm thinking there. You can see them throwing the pylons into the Spartans there, but as I say, they are uphill. Over here, those 2 cavalry units of Touros, look, he's charged into these I think rallied units of the enemy there. Look to hit them, to take them out. Nice little move by him there. But as I say, they're interesting and unusual positioning of those Brutii infantry, I would suggest. Please leave your thoughts in the comments there about that. I just hope he doesn't try attacking up the hill. And now he's going to get hit in the flank by Fesen's Carthage Sacred Band infantry. Nice move there by Fesen. I thought could see the disadvantage that Tabor was in there and decided to charge his Carthage Sacred Band into the flank. Remember, the flank and the rear of any unit on Rome Total War are their weakest spot, so you can see them really charging in there. So Tabor needs to get out there as quick as he can. You'll see a lot of Scorpion King's Brutii troops have already been routed there, fighting the Greek cities. Over here you'll see I've charged my red Julii cavalry into the Brutii infantry and cavalry there. If you notice, you'll notice that Touro has got some of his cavalry charging as well, his SBQR cavalry, look, and bang, as he smashed them in there. Okay, so you can see my Julii cavalry there fighting the Brutii cavalry, plus, as I say, we got some SBQR infantry in there as well. Their Scorpion King has just charged his chariot into the rear, into the flank of my attacking cavalry. You can see Touro bringing one of his cavalry units in there. If you notice there, you'll see that I'm using the heavy swords for my cavalry there, which is the alt attack weapon. Remember that in melee, the heavy swords do a lot more damage than the light spear that they use to actually attack there. But over here you'll see that, as we thought, Tabor has moved his infantry. He's put a couple of units in Testudo, but he's moved the bulk of his infantry away there when he saw Fesen's Sacred Band moving in on his flank. As I say, there's a lot going on in this battle all at the same time, so it's a little bit difficult getting it all in for you, but I'll try my best. But as I say, here you can see that we formed up, as I say, on both sides of that valley of death, and it'll be interesting to see which team is going to move into that valley first. But over here, as I say, on our right flank, if you like, you can see that I can see a lot of Scorpion King's Brutii troops have been routed by attacking those Spartans head on. And it'll be interesting to see what Tabor is going to do with his cavalry. As I say, you can see those couple of SBQR cavalry units in behind the enemy team there. And you can see now, I think Scorpion King's moving back some of his infantry, but as I say, he's lost a lot of his infantry from attacking those Spartans head on there. So I say he's moving back, which is a good move. It'd be interesting to see what Tabor is going to do with his infantry there. You can see he's still down in that dip, isn't he? It looks like a bowl, doesn't it? Kind of thing there. He's like down in that bowl there with his infantry. And you can see Fesen bringing his Carthaginians back over to this particular part of this side of the valley, if you like. Okay, so just like to show you quite a good move here by Tabor. And that is, can you see that Aurelius is advancing with his Spartans there? Okay, to chase those Brutio troops away. But you can see that Tabor has brought a couple of his infantry units in between those Spartans to get in behind them. But I think bringing his general up here could be a tactical mistake. Just like your thoughts on that, because that Brutio general to me is now a massive target for our troops. Can you see there? You can see the Brutio general very, very exposed to cavalry and infantry attack. Please, as I say, please put your thoughts in the comments about that. And you can see Aurelius now moving some more of his Spartans over, but there's his general there, look. And as I say, very, very vulnerable there, I would say, to cavalry and infantry attack. Remember, we always try and take the enemy generals out to take that general morale bonus away. Okay, so you can see that there as we're moving in on the Brutus. The cavalry there, the light cavalry of Fesen charging there like a bang as he smashes in there. Make no mistake here, they are surgically, tactically targeting that Brutio general. Make no mistake of that, both Aurelius and Fesen there. And now Touro's going in there, I think, with one of his cavalry units as well. So make no mistake, that Brutio general is the target there. And I think that Brutio general is holding well. Okay, you can see here that Anti has brought some of his Seleucid cataphracts over from on top the other hill there, if you like. But here you can see that Tabor's got some of his infantry in behind those Spartan units. But once again, that infantry is very susceptible to downhill attack from the SBQR infantry and the cavalry that we've got up there as well. But as I say, you can see Scorpion King here still got his troops there, maybe looking to attack, or he may well have gone into defense now and saying to the enemy, come on, attack me. I see that there's a couple of Pontus pike units there that Barclayman's brought over as well, and there you can see Anti's cataphracts there that he's brought over to kind of strengthen the battle line there. But of course, going up against anti-cavalry spearmen there would be very difficult. Right, okay, so that's the Brutio general's just been taken out. Okay, so and there, as you can't see the banner, that means that every single man in the general unit has now been taken out. Okay, now here you can see the way that Fesen's looking here. He looks locked and loaded to me. It wouldn't surprise me if he attacked with his Carthaginians there. It'd be interesting to see what he's going to do there. But as I say, you've got the cataphracts of Anti there, the Seleucid cataphracts. It'd be interesting to see what he's going to do with them. But there's a lot of anti-cavalry Spartans there, going to make it difficult for him. Here you can see I've charged my Brutii cavalry downhill into the rear of those Brutii infantry that was attacking those Spartan units that we looked at earlier. And you can see that you've got Touro's and Fesen's cavalry charging in there as well. And now we've routed, I think, basically all of Tabor's army, I think, has now been taken out. And the Brutio troops that you can see left, I think, are Scorpion King's SR. I think that's, yeah, so they were Scorpion King SR's Brutio troops. There might be some of Tabor's units left, but I think they've basically all been taken out. And you can see the Seleucid cataphracts there. There you'll see my red Julio cavalry, what's left of them, charging into the rear. The Scorpion King's engaged infantry there, trying to get them to rout, which I've done there. Those Brutioid troops routed on impact. Pause the game for a second here. So they were both Brutioid armies, both Tabor's and Scorpion Kings, have now been taken out. Okay, make no mistake about that. After a fierce battle there, they have all been taken out. So that's good news for us there. Okay, but over here you'll see that Fesen has decided to enter the Valley of Death. And there you are, he's gone into the Valley of Death, and now he's going to be fighting uphill against those long Seleucid pikes. There you are, can you see? He's entered the Valley of Death there, and he is now moving up into those pikes. Let's say that Tennyson's poem about the charge of the Light Brigade into the Valley of Death, road to 600. And I remember seeing this thinking, oh my gosh, Fesen's entered the Valley of Death all right here. And now he's got to fight uphill against, as I say, the long pikes of the Seleucids. I'm throwing pilers into those Seleucids. You might be able to see there. I'm throwing as many pilers as I can into them, but fighting uphill against those long pikes there. And if you notice there, you'll see that the Seleucid general has stacked he's got 3 stacked units, one behind the other. Just look at the length of those Seleucid pikes there. And if I can show you the short spears of Carthage there, if you notice there, you see the short spears of Carthage there attacking uphill against the long pikes of Seleucid. And as I say, the downhill advantage that those Seleucid pikes have got. And as I say, you can see the Seleucid general there, where he's being attacked most fiercely, has got 3 stacks of his infantry there. So that's pretty bad. But as we've routed the Brutii troops there, we may well be able to come around the flanks of the Seleucids now. You can see Fesen's got some cavalry there already, but we may well be able to come round the flanks, because I think basically at the moment all that's left is the Seleucids army and maybe a few pike units of the Pontus pikes there. But here you can see we're charging in to those Seleucid cataphracts there. Try and take the cataphracts out. Remember, the strength of Seleucid very often is their cataphract. And you can see there that Iberos Touro is putting his cavalry in there, plus infantry as well, routed a couple of those Seleucid cataphracts there. So make no mistake, that's really good news for us there. Really good news for us, weakening the cataphracts there. So even if any of his cataphracts do rally, they will be battle damaged as well. But here you can see that Aurelius is coming around the flank of the enemy troops, but he needs to watch out behind him because those cataphracts are heading in towards him there. As I say, there's a few pikes, a couple of pike units left of Barclayman's Pontus there, but the main enemy here is the Seleucid pikemen. Okay, now you can see here that most of Fesen's infantry, okay, in quite a short time really, have been taken out. Can you see that? Most of his infantry has been taken out. I think he's got 2 battle damaged units on the end there and his general, but the rest of his units have been taken out trying to attack uphill against Seleucid. Okay, I'm still throwing pilers into those Seleucid pikemen there. Okay, but I've noticed here, as I say, my Greek cities ally coming in from the flank, which is a good move there. It'd be interesting to see what the Seleucid general's going to do with his pike units, whether he's going to redeploy them to try and stop that. But what we want really is Touro to get his SPQR infantry along that hill, if you like, and attack from that direction to back up Aurelius. Because those, make no mistake, those cataphracts there will be looking to charge into the rear of Aurelius is spearmen there. Oh, there's a couple of cavalry from Touro there, and bang, as he charges in there. Oh my gosh, so Aurelius has just lost 4 of his Greek city units that were attacking those Pontus pike unit there. Oh my gosh. And you can see here the Pontus general attacking the rear of some more of Aurelius as infantry. Okay, so what I'm going to do here might be a really unusual tactical move. What I want to do here, I can see that all of Fesen's units are basically spent. So what I want to do is attack these Seleucid pikes to pin and hold them so he can't redeploy them over to his flank. Okay, because I can see Touro's SBQR infantry moving in on that flank. Okay, and so to stop the Seleucids redeploying pikes over to that flank, I'm going to charge in as well, just to pin and hold those pike units there. You can see me charging in now. Okay, now that might seem a really weird thing to do to you and maybe not a good tactical move. And now I'm going to receive a downhill cataphract cavalry charge as well, and bang, as they smash into me there. Okay, routed one of my units there. If you notice, I'm going to charge what's left of my cavalry in there as well. Bang! As they charge in. But notice the bulk of my infantry are holding, even though they received that downhill cavalry charge. Okay, I'm still pinning and holding the enemy. There's nice SBQ cavalry hit in behind the Seleucids there by Touro. Right, that's a Pontus general dead, so that's good news for us. Still, my Julii infantry still holding there, look, even against that CATAPHRACT downhill charge. So hopefully here I'm allowing my SBQ ally to get round the flank and get in behind the enemy troops there. You'll see Touro's backing up my Julii infantry as well with some of his SBQR units. Once again, I'm moving forward with my Julii troops surging uphill. I would never do that normally, but it's tactical here, trying to hold and pin those Seleucid pike units and hopefully allowing my allies to get in behind them, and then they'll have the downhill charge. Right, so here you can see Touro's thrown in a couple of his infantry units there to pin and hold those Seleucid pikemen. And as I say, you can see my Julii infantry. I've surged forward there to try and force my troops down those pikes to kill the man on the other end there. I can see the Carthage general still alive, giving us morale bonus. I've got an Eagle unit and my general unit there giving morale bonus as well as we're pushing forward. But just, as I say, just trying to pin and hold those Seleucid pikes, allowing my allies to get in behind those enemy troops there. And so you can see the SBQR troops of Touro doing extremely well, trying to kill the Seleucid general there. He's forcing his way through. There's still one Pontus pike unit there, still holding there, I think. And there you are. Now you can see that Touro's got the downhill charge bonus onto those SBQR troops. He's moving troops around the flank of those Seleucid pikemen there. So well done, doing really well with his SBQR troops. Right now we're going to try and kill the Seleucid general. If you notice there, I've got a couple of my red Julii units that have punched a hole through the Seleucid pikes, and now I've brought them downhill. And can you see that both Touro and myself are trying to kill the Seleucid general? You'll see here now that Anti has brought a couple of his pike units over, try and defend his general there, like, trying to save his general. And you can see, I think that general unit just glowed, just got a battlefield promotion, so he's got an additional strike there, but we've routed it and we've killed him. So that's good news. We've taken the morale bonus away from the Seleucids there, so that is a really good thing for us. And now, from what I can see, there are just a couple of enemy pike units left. Those couple of Seleucid pike units there that we're going to attack. I think Anti, as I say, Seleucid is his faction of choice, and you can see more of Touro's SBQR troops moving in there to help us finish those the last pikes there.
Now lies dead because of his foolishness. His men will
So there is, I think there's just one pike unit left, probably going to rout now. Bang! As that cavalry unit goes in there. So there, our team has just about managed to go on to win this battle. Okay, my army was well, it was very depleted to start off with, but I was amazed that I still had troops to fight with, really. Okay, so over here you see, remember, this is where Aurelius there, with the help of our SBQ ally Touro there, held against the massive Brutia armies that were coming against them there. Remember, Scorpion King had 16 urban cohorts there, so they held really well. This is where Tabor was, I think, fighting there on the edge of that very steep hill there. So this may well have actually been a pivotal part of the battle here. I think defeating the two Brutii armies that Touro and Aurelius did there, I think that was really a pivotal part of the battle, so they could get their troops over onto the other hill there to help us defeat the enemy troops. Now here, this is where those Pontus pikes were unusually positioned, with the Carthage Sacred Band got the downhill advantage on them. So all those dead there are basically Pontus pikemen that were taken out with the downhill attack by the Carthaginians. Over on the other hill there, you can see the Valley of Death, as we called it. Just look at, well, my red Brutii troops there, plus the Carthaginians there. I say most of Fesen's army were taken out there, attacking uphill from the Valley of Death. Over here, of course, this is where my army was caught by that Seleucid CATAPHRACT downhill charge, which I thought initially would have been unsurvivable. I thought that would have sparked a chain rout of my troops, but bearing in mind I've got a lot of morale in my infantry, I presume that's what kept them fighting there. I know a lot of my units did rout, but they did rally and come back, so very pleased with that. As I say, I thought it was an unsurvivable attack. And as I say, up here on the hill, I thought the Seleucid general held well. You can see I've got a very few battle-damaged Julia units left in my army. That's all I've got left there, so you can see how tough this battle was. But I was amazed that I had those units left after that initial attack by the enemy troops on my moving infantry there. So as I say, it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. Maybe go up to treble speed there. There we go. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. I thought everybody played well. Really well done, guys. This was a challenging map. An average victory. Now, I'd have put money on that being close. I don't know what all of you thought. Must have just edged into average. And here's something I want to show you. Highest kills in the game. Get ready for this. Goes to Titan's Anti there. 2,606 kills with Seleucid. I'll say that again. 2,606 kills with the Seleucid faction, his faction of choice. Mind you, the hill that he was on really helped him to get those kills, and attacking uphill against him really helped. And he's only got 18 men remaining, so that just goes to show his men fought right down to the last men there. So really well done there to Titan's Antiochos there, getting all those kills. My kills, now I was really amazed. I got over 1,000 kills, bearing in mind I was smashed, crashed and bashed at the beginning of the battle. Who would have thought? I was looking at maybe 400 or 500 kills if I was lucky. So to get over 1,000 kills, I was really pleased with that. As I say, after that initial hit that I took from those chariots and those Seleucid cataphracts. Well done to Aurelius. Look at that, look, over 1,000 kills with Greek cities. How unusual is that, to have a battle with two players with over 2,000 kills? So well done to him. Well done to Fesen, very aggressive with his Carthaginians, did well. And well done to Iberos Touro, great kills there as well with his SBQR army. And look how many troops he had remaining at the end of the battle there. So well done to Touro. Well done to Scorpion King, very aggressive, but he'll be very disappointed with those kills. Less than 1,000 kills, he will be disappointed. Tabor very aggressive as well, but he will also be disappointed with those kills as well. Barclayman, less than 1,000 kills, he'll be disappointed as well with that there. So as I say, Titan's Antiochos there with those fantastic kills there. Really well done to him with his, faction of choice. Now what about faction advantage there? So we've got Rome there, Greek cities, Carthage and Rome. That's quite a strong combination, I would suggest. They've got Rome, Pontus and Seleucid. So do you think there's a faction advantage there at all, or do you think it's pretty even? So I say, once again, a really well done to everybody in the game. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a challenging, old-school tactical battle map, as you could see during the course of the battle. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. It's nice to read what you think about our battles. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.